Yes, hello everyone, welcome back to The Last Word. I am in Newark Services. Yes, hello everyone, hope this is doing alright after Newcastle's 2-2 draw. I've been heading up the motorway. I did stop at Cambridge. I'm laughing, I'm trying not to cough because I've still got a cough. But a toon coach pulled up and I thought, I'm not doing it yet because I know they'll jump into the background. But yeah, so I've decided I'm in Newark, which isn't a million miles off Nottingham. For you that are not clued up about your geography, but you've seen the match reaction I've done, you've seen the vlog that I've put out, and I thought I'll wrap it up today and talk a little bit more about Newcastle's 2-2 draw today on a really warm down London. I've got the thicker jacket on now, it was really warm. It's 26 degrees, which is mental, absolutely mental, but Let's get into it. And so we knew that Anthony Gordon, despite saint-maximin thinking that he was injured and he could have got into the England squad, makes you wonder who's fronting these prime time shows. But yeah, he was missing because of suspension. There was always who's going to play that left wing role. Now, if you see my drive down, I said it's got to be Elliot Anderson. It just makes sense to move him and play him left wing. Excuse me, there's the cough. Play him left wing, and it was the one change. Elliot Anderson over on the left hand side. Jacob Murphy probably feels a little bit hard done by potentially, but it was Elliot Anderson who comes in, and look, we're squadded, stretched at the minute. The international break, which we'll talk about, I think it's a good time, but great to see Callum Wilson on the bench. He's got a great goal scoring record against West Ham, so he'll be good. He doesn't get more minutes, but overall, pretty sound. West Ham obviously playing in Europe. This is why we're playing on the Sunday. They went really strong. I thought they might mix it up a little bit, but yeah, David Moyes went really, really strong. Possibly the strongest side that he could have put out. But coming in then, so as I say, I was in the lower tier of the stadium. What was I expecting getting into the game then? So I expected us to be a little bit laggy, even before kick-off. I think there's a few people around me thinking that, it's only going to come up to, everyone hoping for a draw. Let's take a draw. Let's go back to time. Let's keep this unbeaten run going. A lot of people around me were thinking that. I was thinking that even. But the way we started was horrific. Horrific. The whole majority of the first half, to be honest with you. Let's jump straight to the goal. Lascelles has pulled out a right back position, and he's half asleep, and it is Lascelles' man on that side. And I don't know what Nick Pope's doing. Nick Pope obviously isn't in the England side, and maybe it's because of his decision making, and he's kicking, because it is letting him down, despite him being an unbelievable shot stopper, because he did save us later in the game, a hell of a save late in that second half. But his decision making come off the line is poor. He needs to improve on that. It's cost a goal. Largely it's Nick Pope's fault. A little bit on Lascelles, but comes out with his goal, and I think it's Paqueta, isn't it? And he taps it in. There's Soucek, literally 3 yards out for tap in, squares it. Thank you very much. 1-0 doing. And to be honest, West Ham deserved it. Even Eddie Howe said it. You'll have Eddie Howe in a few minutes. But in that first half, I don't know what it was. We just look. You kind of keep blaming the weather. And that's warm the day. And it'll be the last time it's warm, because we're not going to play warm football until what? April? And even then in April, it's only like 15 degrees. It's not like what it is today, which is probably a rarity. I mean, Scotland's drowning in water, whereas London's absolutely basking in sunshine. It's two totally polar opposites of the UK. But we just look so sloppy, man. It passes, and it wasn't Newcastle that was seen in midweek. Was it a hangover effect? Possibly. It was like movement. Eddie Howe was a bit tired of it. He moved Elliot Anderson up top and brought Isak to the left. We get a little bit more joy from that side, because Isak was going past the player, and I thought he's going to use the second half. He's going to put Wilson up top and move Isak to the left. That we didn't see that, but we had 2 chances in the first half. Dan Burn and Miguel Almiron, but honestly, it's up there with one of the worst first half performances so far this season. Can't get any worse. West Ham really playing against a side that's struggling, looking lacklustre. Should have gone and possibly went on to make more chances to create a second, but they didn't. So you're thinking, right, okay, let's get it at half time, get them bollocksed, come back out, it'll be a much better second half. That's what you're thinking, and it was. Newcastle started off really, really good. It was more positive. It was more pressing. It was more movement. It was high energy. There was a lot of movement with the ball, on and off. It just looked like the Newcastle of old. So obviously something's been said at half time. And the goal come. And again, Kieran Trippier has a massive part in both goals because it's a free kick from the right hand side. He just pinged it over and it's headed across to Isak, who then puts it past Areola, and he equalises on that as well. But even just before then, Dan Burn had a fantastic chance as well. So when Areola palms it away, so just before that goal, sorry, I know I'm jumping the gun a little, but that's where this crowd, because the crowd we were a little bit quiet, the Toon fans, but that chance and then the goal, the equaliser came, the crowd were bouncing, and the way it is, look, I've said it numerous of times, going to the London Stadium, I just didn't like how it's set up. It's not a football stadium. It's not against West Ham. I'd rather be at Upton Park. And they would, of course, they would as well, but I understand why they're moving, and the owners will probably say, so look, we've delivered a trophy after leaving this stadium. That's what they're going to say. But I just don't like how Newcastle fans are way up the gods, and some of them are right down the pitch, like the plastic makeshift seating. So I was down the front. So the noise is quite difficult to bounce off one another, because if the crowd start at the front, it doesn't. The back end of the crowd get on the tailgate of it, but the front have already stopped by the time it gets to the back. That's how it worked today, and vice versa. But 1-1, look, we're celebrating the fact of that. And then people walk past us behind us thinking, what the hell's that guy doing over there? We scored pretty much 5 minutes later. 5 minutes later, again, Trippier on that right-hand side. Squares it, he's free. Alexander Isak has a tap in. Thank you very much. 2-1 up. 2-1. He comes over to the lower end section celebrating with the fans. And the thing is with the strikers at the minute, no matter who plays, and it happened to the back end of last season, they're both getting the best out of each other. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I think it's a great thing for the club. Individually, they're probably frustrated because Callum Wilson's thinking, oh, fucking hell, I'm injured for he's missed a couple of games. And then he's seen Isak score today and he's thinking, oh, yeah. But when Callum Wilson starts and plays, sometimes even off the bench, he'll score. And Isak's probably thinking the same as well. It's good. It's good competition. So 2-1 up, right? And then Isak should have had his hat-trick. Newcastle's tails are up. We're dominating that second half. He's through 1-on-1 against Areola. He could have slotted it. He could have dinked it. He goes around the goalkeeper. The angle is very, very tight. He hits the post. That's the key moment, that bit there. I'm not putting anything down on Isak because, look, without him today, Newcastle didn't pick up a single point or 3 points at the time of when he had that chance. But Isak will obviously take all the plaudits, but that one is just, if you put that in, that's game hour. Because, you know, as the game counts down towards the end of the match, West Ham are obviously going to throw bodies forward, it's going to go long ball, etc, etc. Obviously, we've seen a few substitutions. Wilson got 5 minutes. I would like to see him play more because he's got a great record. Murphy was on the pitch for a little bit. West Ham scored through Mohammed Kudus, who's had a fantastic last season with the Eredivisie, didn't he? Low shot, the edge of the box, drilled past Pope. I've got nothing against Nick Pope on that one. It's 2-2. And he brings on Matt Targett to basically just try and secure Newcastle's defensive line because Targett was playing left midfield. Or the fact that we didn't have no one else. It could be that as well. But Nick Pope had to come up. I mentioned just before, Nick Pope had to come up with a brilliant save. An absolutely brilliant save, a wonder save to keep us in the game. That's what he is really good at. He's got pros, he's got negative. He's still an upgrade for me on Dubravka. But it's just frustrating. It's frustrating how we're in the lead, but it's emotional to everything today because obviously we're behind for a long time, playing poorly, got level, got in front, then give away the 2 points at the end. But realistically, on reflection, I think a point is fair. I think West Ham were much better first half and we were much better second half. I think a point is, on reflection, fair. But this is what Eddie Howe said in the post-match press conference. Look, easy for me to say.
Really tough first half for us. We weren't ourselves. Probably deservedly 1-0 down. Totally different second half where I thought we deserved to then lead, where we were excellent. And yeah, disappointed we didn't get over the line because I think at that stage of the game before their second goal, felt like the game was ours, and we've made a couple of mistakes and got punished. Yeah, it's been a brilliant spell for us. I think when you go back to the Brighton game, there was a response needed. You know, we needed to come back after the international break and build our confidence back and get results, and we've done that and some, really. The character again of the players today, I mean, it was magnificent. And very easy, away from home, 1-0 down, to not maybe have the response that we did in the second half today. But I think it just shows what this squad and what this team is made of. So yeah, I think we have to be very pleased overall of the recent games, but now we need to rest, refocus, and then come back in the same vein of form, starting at Crystal Palace.
So that was what Eddie. So he kind of agrees a little bit, doesn't he? So I think the international break is coming at a brilliant time for Newcastle. Do you know who I miss? Joe Willock. I just think Joe Willock is so underrated by Newcastle. Not every Newcastle fan, but half the Newcastle fan base, and so many of the neutrals. I think he's a ball carrier. He's got pace, eye for a goal, play in multiple positions. I think we miss him, and it's great if we can have him back. He is close. Eddie, I was saying after the international break, it'd be good to have him back. Sven Botman, Emil Kraft's played another game in the 21s. Look, I don't think he'll be a regular, but it's just an option, do you know what I mean? Callum Wilson got 5 minutes today. We know that Harvey Barnes is long term. Joe Linton should be back fine. So come after the international break, we've got Palace. Champions League's back again. Just found out on the Dortmund flight that the Sullys, shout out to you, they're on the match vlog. One of them was calling Johnny out. They're on our flight. They're on Carl's, mine, Sam's and Johnny's flight to Dortmund. So that'll be an interesting one. I think there'll be a few beers at 6:30 in the morning. But I think it's a really good time for the international break, Eddie, because we've got that many injuries. Anthony Gordon's obviously back now from suspension as well. It's just a good time. Let's take a look at the league table. So I think UEFA, depending on how well English clubs do this season, obviously the new format, the Champions League next season, if England finish in the top 2 coefficient leagues, which they normally do, it's normally us and La Liga, 5th place will get a Champions League spot, and that'll trickle down to 8th place for the Conference League. So it's very tight at the moment. Newcastle have clawed themselves back in it despite the draw. There was a lot of draws today on Sunday. Obviously Arsenal have pinched the 1-0 win against Man City, which helps actually put Newcastle top for the joint goal difference today. So we're top of the league for that, for something at least. But it's tight. Obviously we had a poor start, as it's all been documented, but I think it was important just to keep this run going today, that unbeaten run, and then we can restart with Palace, and then we go again. Mentions today, it has to be Isak. Isak gets man of the match. Trippier for his deliveries. I thought Fabian Schär was great as well. Tonali was much more busier. He was decent. I'm starting to struggle a little bit. I thought Anderson struggled today. I'm not going to lie to you. I wanted him to do well, but I thought he had a poor game. Wasn't in it enough for me. But Bruno was doing bits and bobs. Sean was breathing. Is that the right terminology? Out of breath all the time, because we used to that with Sean because of his work rate. But Alexander Isak to kind of take the plaudits for me. Yeah, he is. Dan Burn could have scored a couple of times as well. Nick Pope with an error, but then comes up with a worldy save. So there's a lot of pros. There's a few cons today, but let me know what you think. As I say, I'm just in Newark services. I'm going to be jumping back in my car behind us whilst editing this, and then stop at another services, probably Sheffield, Leeds, maybe Scotch Corner, and then put it out. Drop us a like. Come on. It's one of them, innit? But I'm not negged out, because I would have took a point before today, and we got the point. Excuse me, the wind, because it's getting windy, the wind's catching me cough again, but that's it. I'm going to jump in the car and edit this video, but drop us a like, everyone. I hope you're all well. Get ready for Monday morning, everyone. Work life, eh? See yous.